All right, let's turn our attention to this now. The MK Party Parliamentary leader, Dr. John Hlope, will no longer serve on the Judicial Service Commission. His party withdrew his nomination with immediate effect, claiming it can't be associated with what it claims is a fraudulent and improperly constituted body. The decision comes on the day of the first day of interviews. This is to try and fill 21 vacancies in various courts. Now, the High Court in Johannesburg this weekend dismissing his bid to interdict the sitting after another court barred him from attending the proceedings. This is a pending review of his eligibility to sit on the JSC after he was impeached as the Western Cape Judge President. He is accused of trying to influence Constitutional Court justices in a matter relating to former President Jacob Zuma. All right, let's get the latest now on this decision, and we speak to the party's spokesperson. MK Party spokesperson is Nhlamulo Ndlhela. Mr. Ndlhela, good evening to you and thank you for your time. Let's begin with the decision to withdraw with immediate effect from the JSC. Why go through all this rigmarole only to come at this late stage to say, actually, I'm withdrawing?
Well, what you refer to as a rigmarole is actually not a rigmarole. It is important that we challenge the system, and that's what we're doing here. We can't allow courts to interfere in parliamentary processes. We are lawmakers. Courts are supposed to ensure that citizens, and they ensure that abide to the law, and ensure that they oversee the implementation of the law accordingly, not question parliamentary processes that are duly constituted as per the Constitution. Now, we need to ensure also that we expose the issues of separation of powers, because this is exactly what's happening. They're overreaching. So it's not a rigmarole. It is exposing this current process in this current system, or the judiciary.
If the courts were overreaching, why not stay the course?
Why not stay the course? How? We need to expose their overreach.
So what have you exposed by Dr. John Hlope simply withdrawing now altogether?
No.
What is all this effort for?
It's not an issue of simply withdrawing. And I think you're taking it lightly, what is happening here. If you look at the process at which was taken place leading up to this decision, you'll realize that it was logistically impossible, one, for Parliament to even sit and preside over this matter because we were in recess. And the judgment was literally a week before today being the sitting. So does that show reasonability on your end? No. So we can't afford to sit and take things lying down. Him resigning is on the basis, by the way, and doesn't mean that we're abandoning the application of Part B as per the DA's application. We're still going to continue with that. But him resigning is because he will not want to blemish his name off the back of a process that is not constitutional and that is not representative of the people's will. That's exactly what's happening here. Because remember, the issue here is substance over form. Presence versus participation. So what, must he just continue to allow his name to be associated with the process that he is questioning and that he can't participate in? Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense.
What's the point of the court process then? It's purely academic in this instance because he has chosen to withdraw from the JSC.
No. You need to understand that when a person is nominated to the JSC, you don't have an option of an alternate. So, regardless of whether we wanted to replace him at this point in time with an alternate, it's not there. It's not part of the process. So why participate in a process that doesn't even give you an opportunity to bring in an alternate? When we know at the same time there's a parallel case that's ongoing, which we're still going to challenge, Part B of that application that's being brought by the DA.
Well, let's listen to the Democratic Alliance because they seem to hold a completely different view from you. Let's have a listen to what they had to say a little earlier.
What the MK Party and Dr. Hlophe are trying to do here is to hold the JSE to ransom, trying to hold to the processes. It's a cheap political stunt on their behalf, trying to question the integrity of the JSE. And this is something that we will not allow, because the bottom line here remains, in the past, that if the MK Party was really adamant that they wanted somebody else to serve on the JSE, to have a fully constituted designation from Parliament with their representation as an opposition party from the AK side, they They could have written to Parliament to ask for that to happen, and that hasn't happened yet. And so what we've also done is to get Parliament's advice legally on what this means as far as the numbers that are now 5 instead of 6, what it means legally there. But as
a cheap political stunt, is that what the MK party has been engaged in, wasting everybody's time?
Coming from racist, spoiled brats. Please, who's the DA? Don't come and tell us about the DA. The DA are just racist, spoiled brats who lost a vote when Dr. Hlophe was voted in democratically within Parliament. That's what it is. So anything that the DA says, you need to take with a pinch of salt.
Perhaps there is one more point that they want to make, which perhaps you could explain again. So let's take a listen to Karabo from the DA.
Honestly, the true end goal here was to make sure that the MK party's right as a political party in Parliament, designation or fielding of a candidate to sit on the JSE, as is the case, was if the goal here was to protect that right, then what could have happened was for the MK party to choose anyone from their shady benches to fill Hlophe's seat. But it is not about that, and we've seen that, and that's why we are here. What this game is solely about is by ensuring that the MK party or the leadership that is Zuma get to pay up on the favor that they owe Dr. Hlophe.
So 2 elements come from that particular statement. We'll deal with the first one she makes, and that is that the MK party surely has other members within its bench to put up in order to replace Dr. Hlophe. But before we get there, is this, as they point out, about payback? Former President Zuma, this is his political party, a number of people that are now part of this organization are being fielded in Parliament as some kind of gratification for them losing their careers, for defending former President Jacob Zuma in one or other matter. Is this what this is about? You are trying to give them positions as a way to say, thank you for what you did, and in the process, soiling your reputations.
Gratification off the back of what? When all the noise has just been political cases and political attempts to tarnish black professionals who are extremely incompetent. Look at Transnet today. Look at the state of the state-owned enterprises. Dilapidate. It's shocking that we still actually have, and we're actually surprising that we still have a Transnet that still exists. So who is the DA to come and tell us who we must choose when they choose racists and they put them as part of police portfolio committees? And then they want to come and talk about morality? And we must listen to racists come and tell us about morality when all they represent are visitors and settlers who came here and killed our people, and they're sitting in Parliament today. That is what we're dealing with here. So we can't be told by the DA about morality and who is best suited to do what. We have competent black people, and what we've always said is that where we exist, they don't excel. And where we excel, they don't exist. So the DA must get that through their thick skull. That's from MK.
Is the MK party prepared to field somebody else besides Dr. Hlophe? Well, he's effectively gone now from the JSC.
That determination will be made at the right time. We will communicate with South Africans. We always have a strategy, and we will win. The outcomes will be as per what our strategy is planned to ensure happens.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Nhlamulo Ndlhela, spokesperson for the MK party. And that's that. Perhaps one final one before I let you go. So what becomes of Dr. Hlophe now? So does he remain the leader of the MK party in Parliament, or should we wait for yet more news around him?
Dr. Hlophe is the parliamentary leader of MK party, the leader of the official opposition in Parliament. His aim is to ensure we get the land. And as you'll always hear him say, we want our land back. And we hope that the DA gets this again through their thick skull. We will get our land back, and we will govern this country.
Mr. Ndlhela, thank you once again for your time. All right.